Every once in a while, we always get a sweet tooth, and there's not always something around that we can snack on or something sweet that can cure that sweet tooth. So you have to find something that you can make or bake, but my favorite thing to do is brownies. And I like to make brownies because they're really simple and they don't take too long to make and they don't call for that many ingredients and they still taste really good. So the first step will be to gather all of your ingredients, and I always use brownie mix just because it is really easy and you don't need that many ingredients to go with it. So you'll need your brownie mix, a measuring cup, a tablespoon measure, vegetable oil, 2 eggs, a 9x13 baking pan, cooking spray or butter, depends what you use to grease the bottom of the pan just so the brownies don't stick, a bowl, and a whisk to mix the brownie batter. You will also want to preheat the oven at this time so that by the time you're done mixing your brownies, the oven will be ready. And according to Sarah Burr on May 24th, 2011, she published an article that said that brownies are best baked at 325, so that is what I set the oven for. So now we can start mixing up our brownies. I always put the mix in the bowl first. And you want to make sure you get as much of it out of the bag as you can just so it's not uneven. And next I do water, which it doesn't really matter the order you do this in. This is just how I do it. And you need 3 tablespoons of water. Next, I do the vegetable oil, which is half a cup. It's really important to get the right measurements, just so you don't mess up the brownies, because too much or too little of something can make the brownies not bake correctly. And next is the 2 eggs. So after you have all your ingredients in the bowl, you will want to mix it up. And it's really important to make sure that you mix it for a while and there's no dry clumps, because if there's dry clumps that get in the pan, then it'll bake incorrectly, and we want them to be baked through as evenly as possible and no bubbles or just chunks of dry batter. So it's really important to make sure you mix all of that. And it's important to spray the pan so the brownies don't stick. When you grease the bottom of the pan, you just have to do a really light layer of cooking spray or melted butter. It depends what you want to use. You don't have to do the sides or anything, just enough on the bottom so they don't stick. After your mix is all stirred, you can put it in the pan. And make sure you get as much out of the bowl as you can, just so you get all the brownies. Almost dropped the pan. Sometimes I leave a little in there on purpose just because I like to eat the brownie batter, but that's just me. Then I just tilt the pan into all 4 corners to make sure that the brownie batter spreads out evenly. And sometimes you need a spoon to spread it out. And you have to make sure it's even, otherwise the thickness is off. And if it's not an even thickness all the way through, then one side of the brownies will bake different than the other, which you don't want that. So the key is kind of have the brownies baked evenly all the way through. And that's pretty much it. after you have the brownie batter spread evenly throughout the pan, you will want to put it in the oven once the oven is preheated. And usually I start the timer for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, I just check to make sure that the brownies are baked. And if they're not, then I just keep an eye on them for like a minute interval at a time. To check if the brownies are baked, you can use a butter knife or a toothpick. You just have to stick it in the center of the pan of brownies in a couple different spots. And if it comes out clean, then that means the brownies are done. So you will put the brownies in the oven and set the timer. And once the brownies are done, you want to let them cool, because if you try to take them out of the pan too early, they'll be all mushy and they'll fall apart, which we don't want that. So usually about 20 to 30 minutes for the brownie cooling. And once the brownies are cooled, you can cure that sweet tooth.